911, what's your emergency?
Hi, there's like a big group of people gathered across the road, and I don't know, they look really suspicious.
Yeah, whereabouts you located, ma'am?
I'm on Grand.
In 1989, the small town of Low Creek was forever changed by events that involved Satan, cults, and a famous figure known to families across the globe. It all started when an elderly woman, who wished to remain anonymous, reported to the police about a group of people who were holding secretive meetings in a secluded area of the park. According to her, this group of people dressed in red and black with an emblem on their shirts, seemed to be performing some kind of ritual while chanting phrases in unison. They were passing out flyers inviting people to join their organization and were very secretive about their activities. The old woman was particularly concerned about the fact that they only allowed certain people to join their meetings and never disclosed what they talked about. The police were initially skeptical about the report, but they decided to investigate the matter nonetheless. They started by visiting the park where the meetings were allegedly taking place. They didn't find anything unusual except for some flyers that the old woman had mentioned. The flyers had a picture of a castle on them, and the words "Join us." As suspicion grew, the police decided to dig deeper and started questioning people around the park. Unfortunately, nobody seemed to have any information about the group in question. The police also reached out to the local bird-watching group for any information, but they too were unaware of any such cult-like activity taking place in the town. Despite this, the police didn't want to dismiss the old woman's concerns, so they continued to investigate. The police decided to take matters into their own hands and start a stakeout at the park. After a few days of watching and waiting, they finally saw something that caught their attention. A group of people dressed in red and black were walking towards the secluded area of the park where the secretive meetings were supposed to be held. The police watched from a distance as the group began performing a ritual, chanting phrases in unison. Meanwhile, another part of the stakeout squad was in a van, using a parabolic microphone to listen in on the group's conversation. One of them noted that they were talking about a rodent, and he believed it sounded like a possible satanic sacrifice. The police decided it was time to intervene and descended upon the cult meeting. However, by the time they got close, the cult had already left, leaving the police alone in the park. The police began to gather more information about the group and their activities. They had an informant who was working with them to get closer to the cult. The informant reported that he believed he could make contact with the leader of the group. However, after a week of no contact, the informant was nowhere to be found and was assumed dead. The police were shocked when they saw him a week later, walking at the market. They immediately took him in for questioning upon his return. He denied anything had happened and claimed there was no cult. Despite further questioning, he only mentioned that he had a nice vacation and refused to provide any further information. The police were left with more questions than answers, unsure of what to believe. It was winter when the police received a call from a concerned citizen who claimed to have seen a small gathering of people dressed in red and black lurking behind the local movie theater. The police quickly rushed to the location, but as usual, the cult had already fled. However, something caught the police's attention this time. On the ground, a detective found a small pitchfork. It appeared to be a miniature replica of Lucifer's iconic weapon, often associated with the devil in folklore and mythology. The sinister implications sent a chill down their spine. With the discovery of the miniature pitchfork left behind by the cult, the police's suspicions were finally confirmed. It was now evident that the cult was not only holding secret meetings but also attempting to recruit new members or even possess unsuspecting individuals outside of secluded areas. The pitchfork confirmed that this was a satanic cult, possibly even involved in human sacrifices. The police were aware that they had to act fast before the situation spiraled out of control. However, they also knew that the cult was highly elusive and crafty, making it challenging to catch them off guard. As the police continued their investigation, they decided to research the park for any possible clues. They were led to a secluded area where they stumbled upon a dirty, discarded outfit that bore the insignia of a rat's head with glowing red eyes. This finding intensified their sense of foreboding. As they moved further, they came across something truly horrific. In an area where it appeared people had been standing, they found the decapitated body of a cat, leading them to believe it was a ritualistic sacrifice. The realization hit them hard: this satanic cult was worshipping a demon in the form of a rat. Just like Lucifer had presented himself as a serpent, this cult had chosen a rat as their symbol of worship. The gruesome scene sent shivers down their spines, and they knew they were dealing with something far more sinister than they had initially imagined. The police had been keeping an eye out for any suspicious activity, and when they saw a woman near the mall wearing an outfit similar to that of the cult, they knew they had to bring her in for questioning. They asked her about the cult, but she denied any involvement, claiming that her outfit was based on a cartoon she liked. The police persisted with their questioning, asking about the recruitment process and the group's activities, but she remained tight-lipped, giving only cryptic answers. She made a remark about how people should be able to join clubs if they want to, but nothing more. Despite their suspicions, the police had no concrete evidence to hold her, and they begrudgingly let her go. They knew that the cult was extremely elusive, and they needed more to make a solid case against them. Despite the lack of evidence and the young woman's refusal to cooperate, the police were convinced that they had uncovered a dark and sinister cult operating in the town. After secretly surveilling the suspect, the police were shocked by what they witnessed. They observed a young woman meeting with other individuals at a house, engaging in disturbing behavior that confirmed the police's worst fears. They witnessed the group dressed in strange costumes, chanting in unison, and performing bizarre rituals. This was the first time the police had found a location that could serve as the cult's headquarters, and they knew they had to act quickly before the group could cause any harm. The police were convinced that they had enough evidence to raid the house where they believed the cult was meeting. They prepared to make their move, convinced that they were about to uncover a terrifying satanic cult. However, what they found was something completely unexpected. The group was made up of adult Disney fans who had come together to form a Disney fan club. The police decided to question the person who owned the house where the suspicious activities had taken place. To their surprise, he revealed that the group was known as the Low Creek Mickey Mouse Club, who met up to indulge in their love of Disney. The strange outfits they had seen wore Mickey Mouse ears and other Disney costumes. The police were still puzzled about the miniature pitchfork they had found at the scene. It turned out that it was just a trident from a Little Mermaid toy that had fallen off after the group had gone to see the movie in theaters. As the police spoke with the members of the Disney fan club, they couldn't help but notice that everyone was wearing t-shirts with the familiar Mickey Mouse head, not the demonic rat head they had initially thought. When the police showed them the evidence photo of the decapitated cat, the group laughed. They immediately recognized the Felix the cat stuffed toy that had caused a heated debate during one of their meetups. One of their members had brought it along, which had led to an argument about bringing non-Disney fandom items to their gatherings. The argument had escalated, and the person had angrily ripped the head off the stuffed toy in frustration. The homeowner assured the police that this person had been expelled from the group and was no longer associated with them. The police reviewed the evidence photo once again, and with the new information about the Felix the cat stuffed toy, they realized that they had let their own fears and assumptions cloud their judgment. They had gotten so spooked and worked up during their investigation that they hadn't properly examined the crime scene evidence. With this new information, the police realized that their suspicions about the satanic cult were unfounded. The people who had disappeared from the town had actually gone to Disneyland and joined the fan club after seeing them dressed up in the park. The young woman who the police had been surveilling was just a regular person who loved Disney and wanted to be part of a community that shared her interests. The strange rituals that the police had witnessed were just Disney-themed activities that the group enjoyed doing together. The police were embarrassed by their mistake, but they were relieved that there was no dangerous cult operating in their town. They apologized to the group and left, feeling foolish for jumping to conclusions without all the facts. And so, the story of the cult of Low Creek comes to an end. What started as a report of a suspected cult turned out to be a group of harmless Disney fans. Looks like the cult was just a figment of the police's imagination, while the real villain all along was the little mouse with the big ears. If you enjoyed today's authentic, absolutely true, 100% real, definitely not AI-generated true crime story, please feel free to like, subscribe and leave a comment.